Hey, don't get distracted by the pretty flowers and the rabbits who are not supposed to be here. It's not their natural habitat. They're causing some harm. So, this is an important message again. I'm trying to say things to help you. You think you're passing on your immortality, your immortality by having kids. Passing on your DNA, but it's you're not training your DNA to have the skill sets to survive. So there's a lot of ways that if you look at evolution, like let's say natural selection, that you're failing in this way. So your species is there's a few different things. Here's a second thing that evolution functions with as a concept: mutations. You're more into mutations, and again, mutations is a random thing. Often it'll fail more than it'll succeed. And this is what is happening with you more as a species. So when you look at natural selection and you would look at your species objectively, so one that destroys its own habitat, you'd be pretty much at the bottom of this pyramid of dominant species. So, but I wanted to say that hey, this could be lessons in democracy in my time capsule contribution. And next year is the third one that is due, because every 5 years there's a new one. In the second one, I mentioned a group of the best scientists in the world based in the fields that are the most needed at the time. 12 would be, an oversight committee to rule the world, in part democratically with themselves. And 75 years later, when some of their projects succeed, and as a population around the world, you become re-educated with a tiny bit of sentience and sapience in your brain, maybe a 1.0 level operating system in 75 years if everything goes well, then you guys could do a little bit of, democracy at that point. But these scientists, and I mentioned GRETA as being a potential one in her lifetime, and I'm thinking of that picture where she was with Trudeau, right? And I don't see Trudeau's kids, And if I was a parent, I would definitely want my kids to meet GRETA, who is way beyond when it comes to, an influential person for solutions and not problems, compared to, most politicians or rich people. Are more working. They're culture breakers. They're not culture repairs. And you can't be rich and be a culture repair, and you can't be a popular politician that supposedly people vote for and be working on the solutions. You can't. You'd just be incredibly unpopular, especially among your peers and especially among the people that your democratic system that has to raise money. Therefore, it's not really democratic. Is you wouldn't be supported in that way to win your elections. So I'm wondering if GRETA didn't have a lot of time, or Trudeau didn't think about it, and he also didn't have a lot of time, or the kids were not available. I would really like to know what happened there, because the chances of meeting GRETA for those kids would have been phenomenal. And I want to bring it back now to whether GRETA, because GRETA doesn't want to do anything, influence politics. But I disagree. I disagree, that when she's certain and she has a team that can explain why, let's say, certain politicians support something or have a history in this way, and haven't shown the psychological profile or commitment to change, with, a public speech where it says, I've been like this, I regret, you see real tears, and I'm going to go this way now. Unless this happens, if GRETA is certain that a politician is counterproductive as a culture repair, I believe, with so many followers, I believe she should endorse or point out that it would be a shame if this person got elected and if people took that person seriously. And it doesn't have to be negative towards that person, but they could say their ideology or their choices or their historical approach to things, they're disconnected from the real world, the scientific world. So in my opinion, GRETA should no longer, because I think even GRETA doesn't realize how not just the climate, but the social tipping points have been passed a long time ago. And to actually save the children from suffering as much as they will, and having so many still being born just for the sake of suffering in the times that are coming, in the already very destabilized attempts at a proto-civilization, is that I think she should responsibly do something about that. And that's my lesson of democracy. And I'm saying that her voice should count in that way. And I think that in a way this is already being done. You don't have to hack any computers. I think if you say things that are positive or negative, and every country does that in relation to other leaders already on the news, and it's allowed. And I think GRETA can be trusted with being objective and critical, and I would follow her if she had, a news channel, but it can't be 24 hours because you can't do that with her monitoring it and her team and her trusted advisors. It would have to be maybe an hour a day or 3 times a week, an hour a day. And then I would follow that advice. And if it says something about, even leaders in my own country, I would follow that.